Chat, as I said before, I am obligated to do another review with you guys tonight for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So let's go ahead and get into it, chat. Now, I'm a little confused by this title, Episode 2. They call it Enter the Shredder. But as we all knew, in Episode 1, my review, Shredder was already introduced as the main villain in that episode. Really what this episode should be called, chat, is like Enter the Crane or Enter the Rocksteady and Bebop, because those are the new villains that enter into this new version of TMNT. Like, I don't know why it's Shredder in particular. I mean, I guess he's the main villain of the episode. He gets the most dialogue, but there's 3 new villains introduced. It should have been focused on them for the title. But whatever. That's fucking semantics, chat. Semantics. I know Mom and Dad saves the Earth. Yep. Sort of a creature feature. There you go. Do you guys have a good? I had an excellent weekend, Cecil Gilman. How was your weekend? Hope everyone had a very relaxing Memorial Day weekend. My Monday was great. Got some editing done. Just able to relax a little bit. That's the way you gotta do it. Steve and my group and the DT crew are talking about your theater. Oh, right now they're doing that? Of course. Well, I really do appreciate all the kind comments, Chad. Again, thank you so much. No, I'm glad it was had a nice weekend, Cecil. Very good. Actually, my weekend flew by, but it was good. Nice. No, glad to hear that, guys. And again, welcome to the stream. Hope everyone's night is going great. But, Chad, we are cutting back to TMNT, and this episode just takes place a day later, a night later, after the events of the first episode, chat. The Turtles, they are exhausted after their first encounter with the Foot Clan, chat. That building had flooded and had come down on New York City, and they're like, we saved the day, but there was some collateral damage here. It was rough, but we got to retard the suit. We just got to recover and then regroup and think of what we need to do next. We need a good night's sleep is important. At least 8 to 10 hours. Kids, that's what they say, chat, because, you know, they do the PSAs and shit. But April News is like, fuck that shit. Fuck those kids. We gotta figure out who's doing this. And she just busts into the goddamn sewer system chat. She's like, wake up! And they're like, oh, God, April, what are you doing? She's like, we have to find out where the Foot Clan went. And I have a theory where they might be. And they're like, okay, we'll get up. Then we'll get up. So they go get all their gear on. And even Splinter's like, I'm going to come with you too, boys, because my old rival, Shariki, whatever the hell his name is, he's the Shredder. I don't know what his real name is, Chad. We're going to call him the Shredder. I think he's behind all these shenanigans. So I'm coming with you too. And so they go into the sewer system. They go to where the building first collapsed, Chad. Because they think that they probably escaped somewhere underneath the depths of New York City. And then, you know, it's like, oh yeah, all the water's coming down. We don't get, obviously, when it rains, you don't really get that much water in the sewers, which is weird because you would, but whatever. I'm just repeating what the Turtles are saying, chat. And they're going, this is weird. And that tunnel down there does not look natural. Let's go in that direction, see where it leads us. And so they go down this tunnel system, chat, and then, chat, we cut to the thing. They're like, we get answers very quickly in this series. The thing that was cutting out these giant, massive, skyscraper-sized holes underneath New York City. And it's the Technodrome, chat, which is a very popular vehicle/base of Shredder/Crane/Bebop/Rocksteady. All of them, they all use this fucking thing. And he's pounding, and he's just so upset. He's like, I can't believe those goddamn Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles delayed my plans. They got in the way. I hate that. And I need to have a talking to the guy who supplied me with this wonderful invention known as the Technodrome. Only $49.99 in stores right now, kids. Tell your parents. And so he goes to talk to the guy who got him this invention, chat. And who are we introduced to? A disgusting brain monster from another dimension named Crane. So this is what I'm saying, chat. This episode should have been called Enter Crane. Wouldn't have made more sense than Enter the Shredder. We already introduced the Shredder. This is a new character we're introduced to. This is Enters Crane or something. But it's like, he's there. And I love, his voice is really cool. He's like, oh, Shredder, how are you doing? It's like very cool, you know, unique design for the voice. And Shredder's like, listen, I need help killing the turtles. And Crane's like, I've given you this fucking Technodrome. What else do you want from me? Like, I need the invention to kill the turtles. Well, I want a goddamn robot body. We all want things now, do we, Shredder? And he's like, I don't trust you, Crane. Well, I don't trust you, Shredder. So they're at an impasse, chat. He's been an impasse. And also, fucking Crane drops some knowledge here. Naba, hey, thank you for the host and welcome to the stream. I'm just in the middle of my recap of TMNT Episode 2 of the 1987 series Enter the Shredder. Although I believe it should be called Enter the Crane. And, you know, Crane just says, hey, man, I gave you the mutagen to kill your old rival, Master Yoshi, okay? I gave that shit to you to turn him into, like, a rat. And look what happened. Then you create your own worst nightmare. You got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You got a rat guy who's far more powerful than the original Master Chief. You brought that on yourself, man. You could have turned him into anything, and you turned him into those creatures. And Shredder's just like, oh, listen, just help me, okay? And then I will get you a robot body. He's like, that's what I want, Shredder. Thank you. Well, here's the thing. Since that obviously works, since the mutagen proved to work, why don't you use it on other people and, combine them with animals? And Shredder's like, good idea. I'll do just that. I just need a couple of test subjects. So he goes ahead, chat. He stomps off. And Technodrome is like a giant skyscraper of apartments, chat, because all of his thugs, not only does his Foot Clan, like super soldiers live there, chat, and his ninjas, but also just the regular gangs in New York City, they're all housed in this place. He opens one of the rooms, chat, and he's like, boys, I need 2 volunteers. For an experiment. Everyone's like, we're not going to do that for you, Shredder. We got to get paid the money. But the 2 volunteers will have a chance to go up against the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the people who embarrassed you, who mocked you, who showed you what pieces of shit you are. And they're like, we'll fucking do it. He's like, I only need 2. Bebop, Rocksteady, come with me. And he leads them, chat, to this operating room or whatever. He prepares them for experiment. Meanwhile, he sends his robots to the New York City Zoo, chat, and they capture a warthog and a rhinoceros. And these robots are really goofy. They drag these 2 things underground, chat. The patrons are like, what the fuck is happening? They're very confused. They're very confused. They're like, typical day in New York City, So they get dragged in there. Shredder just injects the mutagen into Bebop and Rocksteady, and then he brings over the rhinoceros and warthog. We don't know what happened to them. Like, did they have intercourse with those 2 animals? That is not said. Did they touch them? Typically, as we learn, chat, once like an animal touches the mutagen, touches another animal, it takes on the abilities and the appearance of that animal again, or at least a mutated version of it. But like, it's not really sure what happens here. It's like, did you do something like really even worse? We don't know. And like, I guess the experiment was a success. Because then, chat, we cut back to the Ninja Turtles and Splinter and April, and they're like, well, this part of the tunnel's caved in. What are we gonna do? And Splinter's like, don't worry, boys. I'm gonna go in there and check out what's going on. Even a giant rat like me can burrow into any surface. And he starts burrowing, chat. He's going on the other side. Meanwhile, April's like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell my editor about this hot story. We're going to get cameras down here. We're going to get the NYPD. It's going to be a huge story, boys, so prepare to be famous. She was up there. Ninja Turtles like, well, we don't know what to do. They're just going to wander around the sewer. Eventually, they come up, it's so weird. You're like, where does this lead to? And they go up there, chat, and it leads up to the fucking New York City. Where else do you fucking think it leads up to? It's a sewer grate. And they go up there like, wow, and they're just running around New York City, chat. Everyone's like, oh my God, those are fucking mutated turtle people. Everyone's kind of freaking out. But it's okay, guys. They're going to get some clothes, going to get some duds, and they're going to blend in perfectly in New York City because they got to get a hold of April because they don't know where Master Splinter is at this point. And so we cut to April O'Neil, and her boss is like, April, you've been gone for 3 days, and you smell like shit, like literal feces. What have you been doing, girl? She's like, I've been in the sewer. I've been living in the sewers. It's a good story. She's like, you are crazy. You're fired. He's like, that isn't fired, chat. I got a whole big story. She's like, I'll give you 1 camera and you show me the footage. That's all I'll give you. He's like, God damn it. And so she takes the camera, chat, she leaves. And she's like, well, and then, this is so stupid. She then encounters the Ninja Turtles, except they're dressed in ordinary clothes. What? I know it's a cartoon for kids, but it is so 80s, like early 90s, and they're using all that fucking lingo, and they have these shirts on, they got baggy jeans on, like down to their turtle asses, chat. It's like, this is not working. They're just saying, yo, and they got boombox. Each one has a boombox. I see what they're doing. And she's like, oh, boys. How much did that cost? Well, you could buy this any store for $9.99. It's like, oh, that kind of shit. Just fucking hawking toys at you, chat, constantly, consistently. Like the Technodrome. Oh, speaking of the Technodrome, chat, we cut back to Master Splinter. He has burrowed his way through, and he's like, that's a big fucking evil thing. I'm going to go over to it, chat. And much as they say Master Splinter's a badass, chat, he gets his ass kicked quite often because a robot's like, oh, giant rat. Fucking hits Master Splinter across the head and severely concusses him, and then just, it sucks him up into the Technodrome, chat. Oh, no, what's going on? And then The Turtles, April O'Neil, they go back into the sewer system, and they find the hole, I guess, where fucking Splinter was. And they're like, oh no, here's Splinter's stick. We gotta get in the Technodrome. And they go in their chat, but this is all part of Splinter's plan, his evil master plan. He's like, I'm gonna test the Turtles. I'm gonna see just how powerful they are. And he puts them through all, trust Uncle Philip Shredder. Pretty much. And so he puts them through all these various tests. I mean, things you've seen in movies. Like he has the walls that are closing in on them. And they just press a button and it fixes itself. They fight all sorts of robots in here, chat. Kind of a fun action scene. I'm like, you know what? I did notice, chat, the animation was better here than the previous episode. There's a lot of variety to this. I was like, okay, this in terms of animation, I'm liking this right now. It's entertaining at the very least. And eventually they get to this big arena-like area. And they're like, what's going on? And now who? And they see Shredder hanging. And he's all beating the shit, chat. Again, Master Yoshi, not a great fighter, apparently. They say he's this wise, master. He's the best fighter among anybody, but gets his ass kicked, at least for 2 episodes in a row, certainly does. And like, we gotta get Shredder down, but then who fucking walks out, chat? It's the Shredder. Enter. Oh, this is why they say enter the Shredder, because he literally enters the room. Fair enough, TMNT episode 2. I'll give it to you. And he enters the room, chat. He's like, oh, boys, you have passed my test. I'm so proud of you. Why are you proud of us? Evil Shredder's like, there's a good reason, boys, because it was I am your creator. I was the one who exposed Master Yoshi to the mutagen, which also exposed you to the mutagen and made you who you are today. In a way, I am your father. No, but it's not like that. They don't pull Luke Skywalker. They're like, you know what? Fuck that. Fucking Master Splinter's our dad. And it's like, kind of, what, chat? That's kind of very humbling. I like that. Aaron says, you're not our father. You may have created us, but he's our dad. He's the one who's been raising us. He's the one who treats us with respect, treat us with love. You ain't shit, Master Splinter or Master Shredder. And they go ahead and they free their dad. Shit, they capture. He's all injured and beating the ship. He's like, we love you, Dad. And they give him a good big hug. He's like, I love you, boys, so much. Thank you for saving me. But then, Chad, who walks up? Who enters the new room? Fucking Bebop and Rocksteady. 2 new enemies. A lot of new characters in this episode. Bebop, I believe, is a warthog man. And Rocksteady is a rhinoceros man. And they just go headline in on the turtles. They're just charging at them. And the turtles literally jump up in the air. They hit each other and they're knocked out. That's it. That's all that happens. Listen, I know they're fucking incompetent, but Jesus Christ, are they incompetent? Shredder's like, what the fuck? Really, that's all you can do? And I'm like, okay, we gotta get the hell out of here. Because now all the Foot Clan shows up. Chat, we gotta get the hell out. And so eventually they climb out. Chat, they end up in the zoo. They end up in the New York City Zoo. April's there for camera. She's like, where's the story, boys? The story's coming to you, April. And then fucking Rocksteady and Bebop, they climb out of the pit. And they're all geared up in this, decked out in these, like, laser rifles, chat. And they're just firing at the turtles. They're missing constantly. They're not doing a good job. Turtles eventually realize, like, okay, these guys are tough, but they're fucking dumb. We just gotta get them in one of these cages. And eventually they trick them. Where they do a little loop-de-loop on, chat, because they're slow. And eventually they get them in one of these cages and like, we can't get out. They take their weapons from them. And it's like, there you go, April. There's your story. She's like, yeah, this fucking mutated rhinoceros and pigmen. This will be great. My boss will love this. And so she films that, chat, and like, well, let's get out of here. And they go back to the sewers where they eat pizza and whatever else they do down there. But, chat, it's not over. Because Rocksteady and Bebop, they have not been forgotten because the Shredder robots, they dig up through the earth. And they grab a hold. They wrap their metallic hentai tentacles around Rocksteady and Bebop. And Shredder wants to have a word with you. And like, oh, we would prefer to be in the cage, girl. And they're dragged to the depths, chat, where the Technodrome awaits. And that is TMNT 1987 Episode 2, Enter the Shredder, chat. I thought this was a much better episode than Turtle Tracks, than Episode 1. I like the variety of animation here. I thought the action scenes were better. I like the new characters introduced to. Not a big fan of Bebop and Rocksteady. They look a little too dumb for me. But I really like Crane. I thought he was cool. I'm not too familiar with the pantheon of the turtle characters, but I really like what they had Crane do in the very least. I imagine he'll be a part of more episodes in the future.